Hello, guys. Happy Monday. I hope everyone is having an incredible day so far. So good to see you again. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about lucid dreaming and the 7 steps to lucid dreaming. These are my 7 steps. These are what I think is a foolproof formula to learn how to not only lucid dream, but create the habit of lucidity and actually implement it into your lifestyle without it being a one-off experience. When it comes to lucid dreaming, I truly believe that this is a practice that can transform our lives if we can integrate it correctly into what we're doing and not make it seem like a chore, not spend too much time on the wrong things. You know, this is really a simple 7-step formula to help you create a lifestyle of lucid dreaming and lucid living. A lot of these will be familiar steps to those who have been lucid dreaming or who have been getting into the practice, but there are some things in here as well that I think would be incredible to implement into your practice to also be consistently learning and trying new things when it comes to lucidity and the practice of lucid dreaming. So thank you everyone for coming on in. William Wild, Polilla, how are you? Mark, how is everyone doing? Definitely drop me a hello in the chat and let me know where you're from so I know where you are tuning in from and so I can say hello to you. Now, as far as the content coming up for this week and for the next couple weeks, I'm going to be experimenting with a couple different things. We're going to be talking a lot about dream herbs. I'm going to be making more vlogs for like my patrons and memberships just to kind of test out. So we're going to be just testing out a few different things on the channel, but I definitely want to come back to basics today for anyone who is just joining on the channel or who needs a nice refresher on a simple way to come about lucid dreaming. I know there's so much information on the internet when it comes to, the lucid dreaming hack you can try, or do this instead of this, and there's just so much information, especially if you're actively looking for it. So I want to help you cut out all of the unnecessary information that maybe isn't helping you begin this practice and kind of make it as simple as possible. Hello Kevin, how is it going? Again, if there's anyone just coming in, we do have a community Telegram chat and a Facebook group for the community, a private Facebook group. So if you're wanting to connect to the community, ask some questions, share some dreams, then you can find those links in the description of my videos. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I would love to hear your guys' experiences with lucid dreaming. If there is anyone who has never had a lucid dream before, please let me know. I would love to hear all about it. What's up, love and blessings in Jesus Christ's mighty name. Oh, what's up, Fox? So good to see you again. Ohio, awesome. Good to see you. I'm in Utah right now. It's very overcast and very chill today. It looks like it's gonna rain, so that's very exciting. I'm very excited for that. Again, one last quick thing. We are doing our Dreams of the Inner Child Masterclass starting tomorrow. So if you're looking to learn how to actually do inner child work and meet your inner child within the lucid dream state, then that is what we're going to be covering tomorrow. Let me know if you have questions about how you can join that. Okay, so we're going to get started, and I'm sure that there is a few people that are watching this, or maybe more than that, who don't really know exactly what lucid dreaming is. And sometimes people can classify lucid dreaming as a vivid dream. That is not actually true. You can have vivid dreams that are not actually lucid dreams. So to start it off, a lucid dream is simply a dream in which you know you are dreaming as the dream is happening. So this is not, something you realize after you wake up. This is something that you recognize as you are in the dream. Hello, Eric. So a lucid dream is simply the awareness of the fact that you are dreaming as the dream is happening. So you may notice you have a dream where something odd kind of happens and you're like, wait, that's super weird. This can't be real life. This must be a dream. This is a dream. It's that aha, I'm dreaming moment is what creates a lucid dream. Now, this is not just something that is spontaneous. We can actually learn to induce this aha moment within our dreams just by kind of switching our mindset and implementing specific habits in the waking state that we can carry into the lucid dream state. And any dream that you have has the potential to become lucid. It's down to the awareness that you're dreaming. And how can we become more aware within the dream? Well, it's all about looking at things a little bit closer, right? Kind of rewiring our brain with how we kind of see, perceive, and move in the world. And I'm going to break this down in a very easy way, especially if you are just getting into lucid dreaming. I want to make it a very simple process that you can implement. And it's always a great refresher to come back to basics if you are wanting to kind of restart your practice. If maybe you've fallen off your practice and you're ready to get back in, we are all here together, and this is something that we can all implement. So now that we've kind of covered what a lucid dream is, by the way, you might have had a lucid dream and not realized it. A lot of people's first lucid dreams are nightmares when you're younger. So if you've ever had a nightmare where you tried to wake yourself up, that was a lucid dream, because technically you knew you were dreaming because you were trying to wake yourself up. So subconsciously there was a part of you that knew what you were experiencing was a dream. Hello from Utah. I'm in Utah as well. Hello, how is it going, guys? Makua's Jason. So good to see you guys. Hello, hello, hello. So you may have had a lucid dream without realizing it if you've ever had a nightmare in which you tried to wake yourself up. Again, there can be some confusion about what an actual lucid dream is, but forget everything that you've heard up until this point with the definition of lucid dreaming, and just know that it is the awareness of knowing that you're dreaming as you are in the dream in real time. Okay, perfect. So the first step that you want to do before you do anything else within this practice is, can anybody guess? What do you think the first point is to the 7 steps of lucid dreaming? This is something that you can start doing even if you're not remembering your dreams, even if you've never had a lucid dream before. There is something in particular that I recommend everybody does. What's before awareness? What's the very first step? Saying, I've never done dream work before. I've never done dream work before. I have no idea where to start working with my dreams. I've never had a lucid dream before. The first step is dream journal, getting a dream journal. This is the very first step to beginning dream work, because without having a dream journal, love that. All of these are extremely important. Awareness is extremely important. Reality checks, we're going to be covering that. Having a healthy sleep pattern, absolutely. Writing your dreams down, great. So dream journal, getting a dream journal to begin writing your dreams down is the very first step. Now, a lot of people have asked me, well, how can I have a dream journal if I'm not remembering my dreams yet? So I want you guys to know that everybody dreams. We all go into about 4 to 5 dream periods every single night, depending on how long you usually sleep for. Let's say that you sleep for an average of 8 hours. You go into about 5 REM periods during your sleep. Now, REM stands for rapid eye movement. This is the stage of sleep that you go into when you have your dreams. So if you ever wake up from a super, super vivid, colorful dream, you were in REM sleep. REM sleep stands for rapid eye movement, and it's because when we are dreaming, our eyes are actually kind of moving back and forth. That's where it gets its name. That's how it was discovered, actually, lucid dreaming. And what's interesting is when they discovered lucid dreaming and the correlation between this state of sleep, let's say that you were watching a tennis match in your dream. Your eyes would actually be moving in correlation with what was actually happening in the lucid dream. And this is how they were actually able to prove that lucid dreaming existed. They told the people that they were using in this experiment to, when they were in their lucid dream, to send back a specific signal that they already planned out. You know, some sort of like Morse code, like left, right, left, right, up, down, whatever, right? And when that person got lucid in their dream, they were able to relay back this exact message, and it proved that there is consciousness within the dream state. So that's kind of where it gets its name. That's kind of how it was proven. And That's the stage of sleep that we all experience every single night, several times actually. So if you're not remembering your dreams, just know that it's because you haven't practiced remembering them. It's like if you knew how to play guitar, but you haven't played guitar in a few years. You're gonna have to brush up on it. You're gonna have to practice to start creating that connection again, right? And dreaming is no different. Dream recall is a skill. It's a skill that you learn. Everybody has the ability to lucid dream, and especially if you dream, which all of us do unless you have like a deficiency in REM sleep or something, everybody dreams, and if you dream you can also lucid dream. Any dream that you have can be transformed into a lucid dream. So that's good news, right? And when it comes to using your dream journal, you can start using that before you're even remembering your dreams. That's actually how you will start to remember your dreams, if you pick up a dream journal. So let's say that you've never used a dream journal before. How do we go about this? You can use any type of journal or notebook that you want to for your dream journal. I recommend having a notebook or a journal specifically for your dreams and nothing else. So pick up a nice fresh notebook. It could be something that's super fancy and beautiful and nice, or you can just use a regular notebook. Doesn't even matter. But I found that some people have a lot more fun kind of engaging with their dreams if they take time to make their dream journal look dreamy and fun and playful and nice, and you can draw pictures on it. You can do whatever you want, but you want to have a journal that you will be using every single day. So that's why some people like to take extra time into decorating it and making it look nice, because it is going to be something that you use every single day. I would also recommend having a pen that is just for your dream journal. So you probably want to choose something that's fun and like nice to write with, and it feels really nice. There's nothing worse for me than writing with a pen that just doesn't feel good, or it just doesn't flow very nicely. I love my writing utensils. I probably have a billion pens in this house, and I really like to make sure that I have a pen that flows nicely, that I like using. And I noticed that if I'm liking the pen I'm using, I actually write down more of my dreams. Have you ever used like a pen, if you're writing down your dreams, for anyone who has done this, that it just feels scratchy and it just doesn't, so you just kind of like jot down your dreams really quickly. If I have a pen that I really like, that like the ink flows nice and it feels really good, I'll really take my time in my dream journal, and I'll probably write more details of my dreams just because I like the way it feels when I'm writing with that pen. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. So grab a grab a journal that you think would fit this practice for your dreams, and get a nice flowy pen that you like using. When it comes to like the first night of using your dream journal, let's say you just got your dream journal, you just got your pen, you're like, yes, I'm ready to go. You're probably going to start this at night instead of in the morning. So before you go to bed, you want to start affirming that you will remember your dreams. Now that you have got your dream journal, now that you've kind of made the intention to start working with your dreams, you want to go to sleep with an intention. The last 2 to 5 minutes of wakefulness is actually when your subconscious mind starts to open. So if you have suggestions or affirmations or intentions that you want to carry into your sleep, the time to set them is before bed. That's why some people use an affirmation and just repeat it until they fall asleep, or maybe some people meditate before bed, because when you are falling asleep, your brain is in a state of hypnosis. And so using intentions and affirmations during that time is extremely powerful, because it kind of bypasses the conscious mind and it allows it to seep into the subconscious mind, which is gonna we're actually going to see an effect of it a lot quicker than if we just did it during the day, right? So what I would do for this affirmation or intention is just to say something extremely simple that you can repeat a few times before bed. My favorite one is, tonight I'll remember my dreams. I have excellent dream recall. You're intending for what you want to happen. You're saying you're going to remember your dreams, but you're also affirming that you have good recall. And this is really the key to starting to remember your dreams, is by creating the intention to remember your dreams. If you haven't remembered your dreams for a while, when was the last time you actually tried? It's not something that's just going to, I mean, it comes naturally when we're younger, right? But as we get older, if we don't really use our dreams, our brain doesn't know that it's a priority to remember our dreams. One of the brain's jobs is to be efficient. And to be efficient, the brain has to choose what information to save in the conscious mind and which one to kind of put away, right? And if we're not using our dreams for anything, that's a lot of energy that the brain could be conserving for something else. So it thinks it's helping you by getting rid of your recall if it doesn't think you're going to use it. So now it's all about just showing your brain that it is a priority and you want to work with your dreams and you're ready to start remembering your dreams. So before bed, fall asleep with an intention. Tonight, I'll remember my dreams. I have excellent dream recall. That's the one I always use. That's the one I recommend to like my clients, my friends, everybody. And of course, if you need to change it or switch it up, definitely do that. You can absolutely do that. But that's one that definitely works for me. Now, let's say you wake up in the morning and you don't remember anything still. You made the intention, but you still didn't remember anything in the morning. You just still want to pull out your dream journal. You want to make sure that you can commit to writing something in your dream journal every single day, even if it's a couple words, right? So you can open your dream journal. You want to write the date and the time I write the date and the time in the top right corner, and then I write what I dreamt about. And you can also give your dream a title, kind of like a movie. If you were to sum this dream up, what would the title of that be? That way you can flip through your dreams and easily find ones that you want to refer to later. You don't have to start that immediately, but that's something that I add to my dream journal. So let's say you've never used it before though. This is your first official time using your dream journal. You're going to write the date and the time and then what you remember. If you didn't remember any dreams or anything, you can write I didn't remember any dreams tonight, or no dream recall, or no DR, no dream recall. If you really want to like not write much in it and you really don't want to dedicate a lot of time into it, then no DR, no dream recall, as long as you can remember the things that you're saying in there. But I definitely recommend giving a good amount of energy to your dream journal because you're kind of expecting an exchange, right? You are dedicating to using your dream journal and writing your dreams down to build your dream recall. Again, if you try to rush through your dream journal and you don't act like you really care about it, or it's like you don't want to use it, that's fine if you don't want to use it first, but you need to train yourself to pick it up and write, at least just report what happened. That's all it is. You're just a reporter of your dream period and you're just writing what happened. Now, once you start to write down, like no dream recall, I didn't remember anything, your brain's going to say, oh, this is new. She's actually taking time to look back at sleep and see if she remembered anything. This must be important. So I'm going to work on starting to retain this memory from sleep so she has something to write down. So that's why it's important to use your dream journal every single morning. Now, if you remember a little piece of something, you remember you dreamt, but you don't remember what you dreamt of, you can write that exact thing down. I remember dreaming, but I don't remember the details. I have many journal entries like that in my dream journal, so feel free to do that. If you don't remember anything, but you don't necessarily just want to write down no dream recall, really all this is about is starting to become conscious of what happens during your sleeping period. So if you remember waking up in the middle of the night, maybe 3 a.m. and you had to go to the bathroom, you can write that in your dream journal. If you remember kind of tossing and turning and having a hard time falling asleep, or you had these weird random thoughts, sometimes you'll be trying to sleep and you're thinking about just these random thoughts that don't really make sense, you can write that in your dream journal. I didn't dream, but this is what happened. And after doing this consistently for about a week or so, it's slightly different for everybody, but you can start remembering your dream recall pretty quickly. You will start to remember little pieces and bits of dreams, and then you'll remember a little bit more, and you just kind of want to keep writing down these details. And I have fallen off my dream practice. I have had dry spells, and I will start from no dream recall, and within a couple days I will start remembering pretty much full dreams, as long as I am writing down what happens when I dream, right? As long as I am using my dream journal. Even if everything's great and I just stop using my dream journal altogether, my dream recall disappears even still. So dream journal is extremely important, not only to build your dream recall, but it's also going, like, the information that's in your dream journal is going to kind of feed your practice to let you know how you can start lucid dreaming. I promise you, your dream journal is going to be the pinnacle of your practice. It's going to be where you build your recall. It's going to see where you spot habits in your dreams. You'll be able to decode the symbolism within your dreams. And it's just extremely valuable to have a dream journal that not only you can write in, but that you can look through. So definitely take your time a little bit, you know, with writing it as well, because you're not just setting it and forgetting it, you're going to be using this in your practice. So again, setting your intention before you fall asleep, and then reporting anything that you remember in the morning. And again, date and the time. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can also come up with a little title for your dream. That way you can kind of look back and find your dreams in your dream journal. I also put a little star next to the entries where I got lucid. That way, if I'm looking for a specific lucid dream, I can just look for the stars and kind of read through them that way. So that is kind of how to start using your dream journal and building dream recall. And of course, you're going to start really remembering very powerful, strong, like vivid dreams, and some will take a bit to write down. You can summarize them. It's almost like if you were trying to talk to a friend about a movie they've never seen and you were trying to explain the movie to them, you kind of sum up the movie in the most important parts, right? That's kind of what you can do with your dream journal. If you have a super long dream, you can summarize it in the most important parts. I try to include as much detail as possible because I definitely believe that there's symbolism within every single dream, and you can kind of see what parts are most important and what isn't. You know, if something very specific and like weird happens in your dream, you'll want to write that down. Anything that stands out or creates any sort of like emotion or really adds to the theme of the dream, you want to write all of that information down. Let me get to some comments really quick, or some messages really quick. I've been using a dream journal for a while, but I still don't remember much of my dreams. One thing that I'd also say as well is all of you need to be aware of any medications that you may be using that could be suppressing REM. I've worked with a few clients lately where we have really been working on dream recall for a while, and one of their medications was actually completely suppressing their REM sleep, which means the medication was taking them out of dream sleep and putting them into deep sleep. If you are on any medications, I would definitely look out for that. If you smoke cannabis or if you drink at all, those can also suppress REM. And if you're not using your dream journal consistently every single day and not really setting an intention before bed, that could also do it as well. If you're forgetting to write in your dream journal in the morning, again, it's all about showing the brain that dreaming is a priority. That could also affect your ability to recall your dreams. If all of that checks out, then I would just consistently be working with your dreams. You can also experiment with some dream herbs if you feel comfortable to do that, but really just setting the intention before bed and writing your dreams down when you wake up in the morning, that is enough to start cultivating a dream practice and some dream recall. If you don't really remember dreams in the morning, I would start experimenting with your REM sleep and actually waking up during one of your REM periods, because that's when you're in dreaming sleep already. So if you just came out of a dream, you woke up out of a dream, you're most likely in REM. So you can, if you don't remember your dreams very crisp in the morning, then you can start targeting other REM stages and kind of play around with that. So, and that will be enough to really get you going with dream recall, and then the rest is kind of a domino effect from there. Yes, I wonder if a tape recorder would lend to more detail. Sometimes if I am, let's say that I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm really tired and I don't want to write down my dreams, I send a Facebook message to myself, like a voice message on Facebook, and then I can write the rest of the dream down in the morning. So if you are super tired and you don't want to write your whole dream down, you can summarize it in a voice message, just record yourself talking. You can write down lots of key points on a paper really quick and then just look at them in the morning and kind of piece them together, whatever you want to do. But for me, if I like really don't want to write down my dreams, then most of the time I'll just send it in a voice message. Eventually you build up such strong recall that you can have a dream in the middle of the night and be like, oh, that was a crazy dream, and I'll write it down in the morning, and you'll be able to recall bits of the dream. And then as you're writing your dreams down, actually, you can start to recall more and more and more. You're actually just accessing that part of your brain that holds dream recall. So even if you just remember one or two things from your dream, sometimes just writing those things, you'll start to unlock other pieces of your dream and you'll actually come out with a cohesive dream just by working with them. So that's why writing your dreams down is important. You may not remember all of your dream like when you wake up. Sometimes little pieces will come to you in the shower or like at the end of the day or like when you're eating lunch or something. That happens to me still. I'll be doing something and then it will like trigger, you know, a dream that I had last night, and I'll go write it down whenever I remember. So recall can come to you at any point in the day. So just make sure to do something with it. If you're not near your dream journal, just write it down in your phone so you can transfer it later. Just finding some way to capture the essence of your dreams so you can record it after in your dream journal. It's similar to a college student recording lectures. Science says that writing helps you remember more. Exactly. Yep. And it could help you with, can help though for shorthand to write later. Yep, absolutely. I definitely agree. Mega, it changes all the time. Sometimes I will have a lucid dream every night. Sometimes I will have more than one lucid dream a night. Sometimes I will go like 1 or 2 weeks without a lucid dream. Sometimes I'll have an out-of-body experience, but not a lucid dream. It really changes all the time. But sometimes the frequency will be like, you know, through the roof, and other times it will feel almost like a dry spell. And that is absolutely normal. So if you are a lucid dreamer and you have these big like periods where you're lucid dreaming all the time, and then you have like a week where you don't lucid dream, just know that that's completely normal. So Mega, it definitely changes. It also depends on my stress level, like how well I'm sleeping, you know, little things like that. But pretty consistent most of the time, but it definitely depends. Hello there, I had an odd dream involving a cat with a big head and tiny body chasing a mouse with glasses. How strange is that? That is very interesting. I would definitely work on decoding that, because that definitely seems like something is in there. Yeah, Tom and Jerry. Okay, so we covered dream journal and dream recall. Does anybody have any questions about dream journaling, how to use your dream journal, and how to start building dream recall before we move on to the next point? Yeah, Zach, and also pay attention to any emotions in the dream. Was there an emotion in the dream? To recall your dreams or to decode your dreams, you want to pay attention to the main theme of the dream, which your theme is extremely like straightforward, and then any emotion that was present. What role did you play in the dream, or were you just watching this dream happen from an outsider perspective? So we just covered how to actually use a dream journal. There are many ways to use a dream journal. We're about to dive into another point with how we can use our dream journal. Decoding dreams, it really depends on the individual with what certain symbols mean, but really you just want to look through the dream, look at the main points, things that stood out. If you dreamt of someone in particular, or if you did a very specific thing, how do you relate to those things? Let's say that you dreamt of your mom. What role does your mom play in your life? Like, do you have a good relationship with your mom? Like, if you were to summarize her in one word, what would it be? Would it be anger? Would it be comforting? Like, the symbolism is behind what things mean to you. So that's how you're going to be able to decode your dream. It's the meanings that the things have for you that show up in your dreams, right? So like if you dream of a cat and you loved cats and you've had cats your entire life, that could represent an aspect of your childhood. But let's say that I dreamt of a cat and I had a traumatic experience with a cat, then that could represent my trauma, or that could be the archetype of my trauma showing up in my dreams. So you definitely want to look at what's showing up in your dreams and the meaning that it has to you, and then the themes of your dreams and the emotion in your dream. So the symbolism that, the meanings that things have to you that show up in your dreams, the themes and the emotions are the main things that you want to look for. And then it's kind of just tying the meaning together and learning the language that your subconscious mind speaks. The biggest mistake that you can have when dream journaling is not to dream journal. As long as you are actively writing your dreams down and writing down what you can remember and using it consistently and writing down the dates and the time so you know when you had these dreams, that's the main thing. The biggest mistake that you can have is just not writing your dream journal. right, using your dream journal, because you're not going to have much success with dream work if you're not recording your dreams in the first place, because you won't have dreams to work with. So I'm a fan. I haven't watched any episodes recently. Oh, interesting. Awesome. Okay, so now we are moving on to dream signs. So this also has to do with your dream journal. So not only are we using our dream journal to record our dreams, but we're also going to be looking for signs in our dreams that we are dreaming, and these are called dream signs. So there are 3 types of dream signs. There is thematic dream signs, recurring, and anomalous. So I'm going to describe what these mean. So these are the 3 dream signs that you'll be able to use to kind of see what kind of dream sign you have that shows up in your dream. So first of all, a dream sign is something that happens in your dream that tells you for sure that it's a dream, right? Let's say that you were like hanging out with like Michelle Obama in New York, and you don't live in New York, and you don't know Michelle Obama in waking life. That would be a dream sign. She would be a dream sign, and being in New York would be a dream sign, right? So things that stand out that are not a part of your waking life, that is a dream sign. A sign that you're dreaming. That's what we're looking for. Now there's 3 types of dream signs. There is thematic, which is like the theme of your dream is off. So for me, I always dream that I'm in school. And obviously I'm graduated, I am not in school. So when I literally dreamt I was in school last night, actually. I dream of that almost every night. But that is my dream sign, and the theme of the dream is what tells me I'm dreaming, right? Because the theme is that I'm in school. So that is a thematic dream sign. The next dream sign is a recurring dream sign. So this is something that you dream about consistently, and that's what tells you that it's a dream, right? So anything that you dream about consistently, it could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing that you're doing, it could be emotion. That is a recurring dream sign, anything that you consistently dream about. The next one is an anomalous dream sign. Anomalous is an anomaly, something very odd or weird that happens in your dream. It could be talking animals, it could be flying cars, it could be being able to like breathe under the ocean and just like walk around. Anything that seems like an anomaly or super odd, that is an anomalous dream sign. So now that you know these 3 different types of dream signs, you can look back in your dream journal and look for the biggest ways that the subconscious was trying to tell you it was a dream, right? And then you can categorize them under these different 3 dream signs. Was it a recurring one? Was it the theme that was off in your dream, or was it an anomaly? So when we're looking for dream signs, we want to just work with one dream at a time, and then see anything that consistently shows up or again reoccurs, or anything that just seems odd about our dream signs. For me, I'm telling you, I just made a video about this as well. I actually talked about it in the meme review that I just made. I read one of my dreams because someone, I think it was Jason actually, he made a meme about me dreaming that I was in school. You know, we're starting to do meme reviews more. I'm excited to make this a continuous thing, but in that specific one that I just did, I was like, oh, it's funny this comes up because I literally just dreamt of I was in school last night, so let me go get my dream journal. And I'm telling you, every single night since then, I have also dreamt that I am in school. So that is the biggest way that I know that I am dreaming. So when you are looking for dream signs, it is simply a sign that you are dreaming, something that is not a part of your waking life. You want to go back through your dream and look at the biggest things that stand out. Who were you with? What were you doing? What was happening? Like, and what part of that was odd? What parts of that told you you were dreaming? Now, you may have dreams that seem completely normal. I hear this a lot. Some people will be like, there's nothing odd that happens in my dreams. Everything that happens in my dreams is normal. I invite you to go a little bit deeper and look at the things that actually don't make sense. Even if the whole dream seemed normal, but you were at work at your last job, that is a dream sign because you currently don't work there. So anything that doesn't exactly replicate your waking life, how it is now, is a dream sign. And that's actually what we're going to be using to help us learn how to become lucid when we dream of those things. That's why you want to look through your dream journal to see what you're dreaming about the most, because you'll be able to set triggers around that to create more lucidity in your dreams. So, all right, I'll get to these in just a moment. So I invite you to look through your dream journal from the past week and just look at what you're dreaming about. And what I usually do, an easy way to track my dream signs, is I just underline them. So I'll go through my dream and I will pick out the biggest dream signs and I will just underline them. That way when I go back through that dream, I can just say, oh, there's my dream signs. They're all underlined. Now you might have one dream sign, you might have two dream signs, but you just want to pick out the main ones. Especially if your dreams are like really wacky, really weird, really odd, just choose a few of the biggest ones and we will work with those. So once you have your dream signs, you want to become aware of what those actually are, especially if you're dreaming about them consistently, because you want to start to create awareness around those things. Let's say that I always dream that I'm in school, but I never question it in my dreams, right? It seems normal. It's because I need to start to create a habit of in waking life. I need to start creating a mental connection between school and dreaming. How can I do that? By paying attention anytime I see a school in waking life. If I want my dream self to do something, I need to make it a habit in waking life, because our dreaming self reflects the habits that we have in waking life. This is why most people don't realize they're dreaming every single night. Most of us assume that we're awake, right? And so because we do that, when we dream, we also assume that we're awake. So the only reason that it's like that is because of the habits that we have built up until this point. And so if you want your dreaming self to do something different, you need to train that version of you, which is literally just your subconscious. You need to train your subconscious how to be in that way, because when we're dreaming in our subconscious mind, which means your habits come out in your dreams, what you're thinking about, your beliefs come out in your dreams. So you need to kind of ingrain a new subconscious habit in waking life if you want that to show up in your dreams, right? It's like if you go on a trip, like I went to Mexico a couple years ago, and for like 3 months after that, I dreamt every single night that I was in Mexico, right? It's because I experienced something in waking life that influenced my dreams. And so if you want to influence your dreams and you want to influence your dreaming self, you need to ingrain a habit that you want to show up in your dreams. So this is where reality checks come in. Now, reality check is simply checking your reality. Now, you may have seen the movie Inception, and you may remember that they had like a spinning top. If it kept spinning and spinning, then they would know that they are in a dream, and if it stopped, then they would know they're in waking life. Now, this is the right concept, but we don't necessarily want to do the exact same thing, because it's not guaranteed that we will always have the object show up in our dreams, right? We want to use something that we should always have with us, and this is why I use my hands. So let me kind of explain what I even mean by this. Like I said before, what you do most in waking life is going to show up in your dreams, right? So for example, if I ask myself throughout the day, could I be dreaming right now? Eventually that's going to show up in my dreams because I've made the habit of that. And if that shows up in my dreams, then I have a better chance of realizing I'm dreaming because I asked a question that got me to think if I'm actually awake or not, right? And so I want to do the exact same thing, but with little habits. So with the reality check, again, all it is checking our reality. We're determining what reality we're in so we know if we're dreaming or not. And a lot of people are like, of course I know that I'm awake right now, but did you know that you were dreaming last night? No, and it's because of this habit that you've created that assumes you're awake. Because you've created the assumption that you're awake, you dream of having the assumption of being awake. So even if we feel like we know 100% that we're awake, we have to put on a mindset that we want our dreaming self to have. You want to be more critical of your environment. You want to pay closer attention. You want to question things more, right? So we need to start doing that in waking life so our dream self can start to do that as a habit. So there's two parts to a reality check. There is the mental reality check, which is asking yourself questions throughout the day. How do I know that I'm awake right now? Is there anything odd that's happening? Where was I 10 minutes ago? Is there anything dreamlike about what I'm experiencing? Do I know where I am? Do I know who I am with? Can I call back my entire day up until this point? You want to ask questions that will help you determine if you are awake or not. And you don't want to just ask them, you want to actually answer them as well. So that is the physical, or that is the mental check, which is the questioning. And that's going to be what shows up in our dreams that helps kind of trigger the awareness that we are dreaming, right? So if I get in the habit of saying, well, how do I know that I'm awake right now? If I start asking myself that in the dream, I'm going to start to look around, well, how do I know that I'm awake right now? And something could trigger me to realize I'm dreaming. And the physical check, which is the second part of a reality check, is what shows up in your dreams to prove to your brain that you're dreaming. So for example, if you get in the habit of counting your fingers throughout the day, could I be awake? Am I dreaming? Let me just count my fingers to make sure. 10. Okay, let me count one more time just to make sure the dream's not fooling me. 10. Okay, I should be awake, right? If you get in the habit of doing that, it will start to show up in your dreams, and your hands are going to look different in your dreams. Something's going to be off because the dream has a hard time replicating reality, and it has a hard time replicating something twice. That's why we do our checks twice. So you might look at your hands in the dream and see you have 10 fingers, but as soon as you look away and look back, you might have 15 fingers. You might have 2 fingers, like something, you might have someone else's hands, right? Something will be off. So this is why I do my reality checks twice, because we're basically wanting to see through the matrix. We're wanting to see through the illusion, and the dream world, and this one as well, really has a lot of illusionary aspects, right? So we're trying to catch it in the act. So when we're dreaming, the brain has a hard time creating extremely fine detail. And our hands have fine details on them, right? Because we have our fingerprints, we have all the unique characteristics about our hands, we have the lines on our hands, and we know what that looks like pretty well. We see our hands all the time, right? So we're pretty familiar with what our hands look like, and we'd be able to tell if something's off. If you get in the habit of looking at your hands throughout the day, could I be dreaming? Do these look any different? Is anything odd? If you get in the habit of doing something like that, then it's going to eventually show up in your dreams, but the lines are going to be blurred, or you're going to have someone else's hands, or like something odd or weird is going to happen because the dream does not act in the same way as reality does. So you're almost capitalizing on the difference that the dream has with reality. You're going to get in the habit of seeing, like, you're gonna do this throughout the day. I recommend doing reality checks like up to 10 times a day or more, because if we want it to become a habit and show up in our dreams, it needs to be a big part of our waking life. You don't dream about something that you do once in a blue moon, right? Not really, at least not consistently. If you want to dream about something consistently, it has to be something that you do consistently. And in order to make it a habit, you have to do it, several times throughout the day. And so I ask myself the questions, well, how do I know that I'm awake right now? Is there anything odd that I'm experiencing? Is anything like off or misplaced? Does everything look normal? Does everything feel solid? Like, what do I remember doing right before this? Is there anything odd happening around me? Do I know who I am, or like who I am, where I am, who I'm with? All of these questions. And eventually that's going to seep into your dreams, right? But also with your hands, if you get in the habit of looking at them throughout the day, you're going to start looking at them in the dream and realize that something is off and different. The questions is what helps you question your reality in the dream, and the physical check kind of proves to the brain, oh, that's not normal, I must be dreaming. And you'll see the more that you do this, when your reality checks start to show up in your dreams, something's going to be odd. Not only can you count your fingers, but I love trying to poke my finger through my palm, because once that finally shows up in your dreams, the dream's illusionary, right? So there's no solidity to your hands. Your finger's actually going to go right through your hand, and you're not even going to feel it. It's like you're just hologram. That's what it kind of feels like. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is a dream, right? So just doing these things is a great way to kind of ingrain the habit of becoming mindful and allowing that to show up in our dreams. So the more you do that throughout the day, the more they'll show up in your dreams. I have videos on like my favorite reality checks to do, my favorite questions to do or ask, even though I just kind of went through my favorite questions with you. And tons of different checks that you can do. As you can tell, you've probably dreamt of time, of letter, like trying to read something and it's super off. So you can do all these things and capitalize on them. Time is super messed up in the dream, so you can get in the habit of reading the time a couple times throughout the day. You know, okay, it's 6:53 p.m. for me right now. Let me look away. Yep, it looks the same. Nothing changed, right? You're going to get in the habit of doing that, and you're going to start to do that in the dream. But the second time you look, usually something changes because the dream has a hard time at replicating what you just experienced in the dream, right? Because it is a very dreamy-like experience, even though it can be extremely vivid and hyper-realistic. So that is a great way to start building more awareness, to start acting more just like critical of your environment. We don't want to just assume that we're awake and just like go on throughout the day just like sleepwalking and being on autopilot, because that's why we're not lucid dreaming in the first place, is because of that habit. So we kind of want to learn to switch that around. And the best way to do that is by implementing this habit. So we've covered dream journal, losing my voice a little bit, so excuse me. Dream journal, dream recall, dream signs, reality checks, and now it's about healthy sleeping habits. If you have a sporadic sleeping schedule, you'll notice that when you dream is also sporadic, but we go into REM sleep every 90 minutes. So this means that you start dreaming every 90 minutes of sleep. So if you go to bed around the same time and wake up around the same time every day, you're going to be dreaming at the same times as well. So if you ever want to do a technique or something, then you can set your alarm for when you're already dreaming, and you'll be able to wake up from a dream and either do a technique or write down your dreams from, you know, a fresh mind of just coming out of the dream, or whatever you want to do for your dream work. So I definitely recommend getting enough sleep. You'll actually have a lot more dreams if you sleep for longer. So if you have any control over that, I would definitely try to sleep as long as you can. Even if you sleep for 2 hours longer than you normally do, you double your chances to lucid dream. And again, we go into REM sleep every 90 minutes of sleep. Our first REM period is extremely small, and then as the time goes on, we have longer and longer REM periods. The first half of your night, the first half of your sleeping schedule is deep sleep primarily. So the first half of your night you're in deep sleep mostly, and then the second half of your night you're mostly dreaming. So if you're gonna set your alarm and kind of work with your dreams or try to do techniques or whatever, I would definitely aim for the second half of your sleep cycle, and you'll be able to target your dreams a lot easier. Also, just pay attention to when you wake up directly out of a dream. If you wake up directly out of a dream, you were in REM sleep, so maybe write that time down, you know, when you write in your dream journal or something. That way you can kind of aim for that time more during your techniques and kind of play with when you're dreaming. I'm working on kind of switching my sleep schedule, so as of right now my dreams are slightly different, but I usually go to bed and wake up, you know, around the same time, and because of that I go into REM sleep at the same times. So I could be like, oh well, yeah, my longest REM period is at like 8:30 a.m. so I just need to set my alarm around that. You know, you start to figure out when you're dreaming the most, as long as your sleep cycle is mostly the same. It's still possible to lucid dream and have pretty healthy dreams without having a super steady sleep cycle, but it definitely makes it a lot more consistent, and it's not as sporadic. If you're just going to bed at random times and waking up at random times, it's going to be hard to track when you're dreaming. There are people that also have like Fitbits or watches that also track like your heart rate, your health, when you're in REM sleep, and the quality of your sleep as well. you can also use from those devices like a Fitbit or something. So if you have one of those, that will also tell you when you're in REM sleep, and so you can use that to kind of target your techniques. And really, it's very important to have kind of a steady sleep cycle. Even if you're a night owl, like just try to be consistent with when you're sleeping. Also try practicing naps as well, just taking naps, because when we take a nap, we actually go directly into REM. And it's really cool because you'll be pretty awake, and then you'll take a nap and go to sleep, and you carry so much more awareness in your sleep because you weren't completely so tired that you just fell asleep and went into deep sleep, right? You had a certain level of awareness, of conscious awareness, that you were able to carry into the sleep state, and that helps you be more aware in your dreams. I've noticed a lot of false awakenings too when I have naps. So if you've ever had a dream that you woke up but you didn't actually wake up, you just dreamt of waking up, that's called a false awakening, and that happens to me a lot during naps. I'll go lay down on the couch to take a nap, and then I'll dream of waking up from the same spot that I fell asleep in, on the couch, and I'll think that I'm awake, right? And false awakenings are actually a great opportunity to have a lucid dream. And so if you implement doing a reality check first thing in the morning, if you're someone who has a lot of false awakenings, if you tend to dream of waking up without actually waking up, then what I'd recommend doing is asking yourself if you could be dreaming first thing in the morning. That way, the next time you dream of waking up, you dream of wake up, you'll actually ask yourself if you could be dreaming as soon as you do that, and you'll turn that false awakening into a lucid dream. So that's a cool way to start lucid dreaming from a nap as well. So healthy sleeping habits are extremely important. The next thing is induction techniques. Induction techniques aren't necessary, but it's a cool thing to experiment with. The habits that I usually teach my clients are to experience spontaneous and consistent lucid dreams. So with this, techniques aren't really necessary, but if you ever have a day off and you really want to practice lucid dreaming or something, then trying a technique would be perfect for that. For most techniques, you want to wake up in your REM sleep, which is another important reason to track your REM sleep. And again, you go into that every 90 minutes. The last half of your sleeping cycle is primarily REM. If you try to wake yourself up somewhere in the first half of your sleep cycle, your REM periods are so small that you'll probably miss them. Or if you do get lucid, you'll probably wake up shortly after, because your REM periods are so small and short during the first half of the night. So what I'd recommend doing is tracking your REM stages and trying to wake up sometime in the last half of your sleep cycle. Or a good rule of thumb is 2 hours before you normally wake up. You usually are in REM around, if you have, the same sleep cycle every night, like if you go to bed around the same time and wake up around the same time, you can expect to be in REM about 2 hours before you normally wake up. So you can also just do that if you don't want to track individual REM stages or anything. But most techniques require you to wake up in REM sleep and then go back to sleep with conscious awareness. You can either be imagining your dream, you could even just be seeing how long you can stay awake while allowing your body to get really relaxed. This is called mind awake, body asleep. You're basically letting your body fall asleep while your mind stays awake. Eventually, with prolonged relaxation and, a little bit of awareness, if you did do this in REM sleep, you will eventually go into REM sleep consciously, because your body will assume that you're actually asleep, and so you'll actually see your dreams start right before your closed eyes. That's how a lot of techniques go for lucid dreaming, so just experiment with it. There's lots of techniques you can try, but that's a good rule of thumb, is just to wake up in REM sleep and go back to bed after staying up for a few minutes, go back to bed consciously, see how long you can stay awake without falling asleep and without moving, and eventually you will start to see some colors form. This is called hypnagogic imagery. If you start to see colors form in flashes of light and swirling colors, this is a sign that you are falling asleep, that your body is falling asleep, because you're starting to see all of the content that creates your dreams. All those colors, the flashes of light, the little dream pieces, dream images, random thoughts, that's kind of all potential dream content. So if you get so relaxed that you're starting to see that kind of stuff behind your closed eyes, then you're on the right track, and you just want to see how long you can stay conscious without falling asleep. And that will usually lead to a lucid dream, an out-of-body experience, And that's how I reached the vibrational state as well, to have, to astral project or to lucid dream. They have very similar techniques, which is super cool. So if you learn how to lucid dream, you'll most likely learn how to astral project and vice versa. So that's a good rule of thumb with induction techniques. With astral projection, you don't have to be in REM. You can actually astral project in any state of sleep and wakefulness, which is really cool, but it does help you astral project quicker if you are in REM sleep, because when you're in REM, your brain waves are more aware and like active than when you're actually awake. So you can keep your mind a lot, aware for longer when you're in REM and let your body fall asleep. But the key to that is you got to stay awake and not move and not let your body know that you're awake, or else it will not put the body to sleep. You may experience, like, if you're like doing a technique, you're keeping your eyes closed, you're kind of chilling and holding still for a while. Eventually you might feel uncomfortable, you might feel itches or like urges to move, and that's called the rollover signal. It's your body's way of checking to see if you're actually awake or asleep. So if you respond to that signal and itch, or you move or roll over, you just told your body, nope, I'm actually awake, please don't put me to sleep, please don't start my dreams. And obviously we don't want that to happen, so we almost want to trick the body into thinking that we're asleep by not responding to those signals. If you were asleep and your body sent you itches, you wouldn't respond to them because you're asleep. So you want to pretend that you are asleep, pretty much. And eventually you will start to be carried into different dream states. So with induction techniques, it doesn't matter if you do wild, mild, wild, whatever you do, wake back to bed. They have kind of the same concept for all of them, and you can also create your own techniques. You really don't have to follow anybody's specific guide for techniques. You can kind of just use what I told you with waking up in REM and keeping that awareness as you fall into sleep, and you will have some success in different ways with that. The seventh step to lucid dreaming that I have is experimenting. Experimenting with the times you go to sleep, experimenting with how you write your dreams down, experimenting with herbs that you use, experimenting with the books that you read, the techniques that you try, the mindset that you have, like all about experimenting. You don't want to be stuck in any specific way with this practice. You want to be able to try new things and implement new things and change what's not working and capitalize on what is working. And it's all about experimentation, and it's all about play. A lot of people take lucid dreaming super seriously, and it's a practice that you do want to dedicate to, and you do want to like take seriously to an extent, but you don't want to take it so seriously that it prevents you from having any success. I found that lucid dreaming really is built off of enthusiasm and determination. So you have to be determined to try new things, to learn how your subconscious works, to learn how your sleep works, to learn how your dreams work, to learn how you respond to different techniques, or waking up at specific times, or what specific foods do to your dreams. Like, you just want to experiment and you want to play around with it. That's the biggest thing. And I think a lot of people take it so seriously that it prevents any action from taking place. Plus, your brain loves to feel accomplished, so if you are constantly beating yourself down for not lucid dreaming and just like getting super angry at yourself for not doing better, your brain only can operate effectively when it feels accomplished, or when it feels like it's doing something right. So if you're always telling yourself that you're doing stuff wrong, that you're not doing it right, that you're not doing good enough, your brain's not going to have enough fuel to actually do better. It's like if someone in your life told you no matter what you did, like, it was never enough, they were always beating you down, they were always like trash talking you, it would be very hard to show up in a powerful way and show up in a way where you could actually accomplish something, right? It truly affects you, how you talk to yourself. And in this practice, if you see yourself taking things like too seriously, or you're being really, really harsh on yourself, I would recommend taking a short break and coming back when you're ready to try again with a different energy. Because even if you did get lucid, you might, number one, they might not last very long, and number two, if you're so used to subconsciously beating yourself up, then you're probably going to have dreams of beating yourself up, or having dreams that are stressful, or having dreams where you feel like you failed. Like, how you feel on the inside is going to be amplified in your dreams, right? And which is why if we're ever feeling kind of low or we're kind of going through something in waking life, we have dreams that reflect those emotions. So they really do affect your dreams, and they'll affect your experience with lucid dreaming and dream work in general. So you really want to monitor how you're talking to yourself, the beliefs that you have about what you're capable of doing. Like, if you believe that flying in a lucid dream is hard, for example, then you will have a very hard time flying in your lucid dream. If you believe that something is a certain way and not any other way, your meaning will create that reality for you. So you can use this to your detriment, but you can also use this to your advantage, because nothing has meaning until you give it meaning, and then your brain will look to prove that meaning as right. Again, your brain loves to be right, and whatever you tell your brain, it will look for evidence that you're actually right. So if you tell yourself that you're not able to lucid dream, or that you have bad luck, or that something's not working out for you, your brain will look for evidence that that's true. But if you tell yourself the opposite, your brain will also look for evidence that that's true. That's how the brain works. So you can actually use this to your advantage, and you want to celebrate yourself every single step of the way. If you are not lucid dreaming yet, but you are remembering your dreams and they're starting to become more crisp and vivid, don't beat yourself down because you didn't have a lucid dream. You are making progress. You have literally, you need to have good dream recall to have lucid dreams. So even creating that strong foundation is something you should be very proud of. And I definitely recommend celebrating yourself in the wins that you do have with your practice. And if something's not working, either give it enough time to work or experiment with different things and play. This is really about activating a level of childlike curiosity and creativity and enthusiasm and play. This is a very beautiful practice, and anybody can do it, but you have to be in the right mindset. Again, this is a practice where you are exploring your subconscious mind, where you are connecting with your subconscious mind, where you are decoding messages from your subconscious mind. If you are subconsciously not in a good place, that's going to reflect in your experiences, in anything that you do within dream work. It's all about diving really deep within. So if you've been beating yourself up in any way, you're going to have to do the inner work with that when you face that in the dream world, because it will come up. So definitely treat yourself with respect as you move throughout this process, because if the subconscious, number one, doesn't think that we're ready to get lucid, we're not going to get lucid. By the way, we don't control the dream. We are guests within the dream world. The subconscious grants us the ability. It grants us our request to get lucid. We can't just barge into the lucid dream whenever we want. And if there's something that the subconscious doesn't think that we're ready for, we're not going to be able to experience it. So doing the work in waking life is really, really important. And as I've talked about so many times, there's not this huge separation between the dream world and waking reality. They really go hand in hand, because even with how we get lucid, we have to use our waking life to be able to create habits that show up in our dreams. And to be able to decode symbolism, we have to pull it out from our dreams and bring it into this reality. We're literally merging realities doing lucid dream work and dream work in general, which is super, super amazing. But also, you got to see the connection between them, and what you do in waking life directly affects your dreams. And what happens in your dreams is showing you what's subconsciously happening in waking life. So there are lessons and messages and symbolism on both sides of this. And the more you can learn to kind of blend these two states together and really use them in a powerful way that feels good, it will be easier to lucid dream, because you've created such a strong connection to the dream world that it directly is kind of tied in and married with this reality, if that makes sense. So experimenting is extremely important, and having the right mindset and kind of state of mind with this is extremely important as well. So I'll go back and take some questions. My throat is so dry. I woke up kind of with a sore throat today, so if I need some breaks to like drink water, I have coffee actually, then yeah, that's what I'll need to do. Okay. I will try to get to where I left off. Half of my dreams also take place in schools. Yeah, see? So that's a great dream sign to start. And plus, when we drive around, we see schools, right? Like, I pass schools a lot. I think everybody has schools in their area, at least one, right? And so if you pass a school, or you think about a school, or you have to go into a school for whatever reason, and you notice that's what you dream about a lot, that's your opportunity to start doing reality checks anytime you see a school. And you'll notice that you'll start to do reality checks in your dreams when you see a school, because now you've created the subconscious connection between dream, school. School means dream. I see school, that equals dream. You start to create that subconscious connection. Fighting monsters or monsters appearing around me is a dream sign for me. Interesting. I'm John. I'm excited to hear about, once you get lucid in those dreams, what they say. I love connecting with like my nightmares or my shadow aspect and actually talking to it in the dream. And that's a cool thing to note, guys, is if you've never had a lucid dream before, when you are dreaming, you are in direct contact with your subconscious mind, and every single thing that you see in the dream is an archetype within you. So you might see someone that's super bubbly and like wild in your dream, and they could be an archetype of your creativity. You could see, you know, your mom like scolding you in the dream or something, and they could represent your inner critic, and you can actually talk to these parts of yourself and do incredible, deep, beautiful work within these states. And it never ends. You just keep going down the rabbit hole. So if anyone's, you know, new to lucid dreaming and what things mean in the dream, they're all archetypes within you. Everything that you experience in the dream is something that is within your subconscious mind, because we dream in the subconscious. So yeah, if you run into something that's kind of scary in the lucid dream, don't get scared, but question why it feels that way and what part of yourself this could be. And again, there's no reason to be scared of anything within the dream state, because it's all you. And if there is something that feels uncomfortable, then there's probably some really deep, beautiful work that you can do there. I feel like the dream world is a portal to different dimensions. Absolutely. Absolutely. I even think meditation is taking us to a different dimension. When we daydream, we are consciously accessing another dimension. I think that we are so multidimensional that we almost don't see accessing these dimensions as accessing different dimensions, but a daydream is going to a different place. You're not here, right? You're physically here, but where are you really? You're not your body, right? So when you're daydreaming, where are you actually at? You're not here. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. Can you meet a past loved one in your dreams? Absolutely. I actually just did a masterclass on that in October. Yeah, I did a masterclass on visitations and how to actually connect with loved ones within the lucid dream state. Has anyone contacted other people in their dreams? Yeah, so you might not have like a dream where you're both experiencing it in real time, but you can absolutely influence someone else's dream, and they could also have a dream, or they can also influence yours as well. You guys can definitely have similar dreaming experiences, and I've heard well, it's the same thing with out-of-body experiences as well. You can have shared out-of-body experiences. They might not be in the exact way that you expect, but yeah, I definitely believe that we can do that. I just think questioning your reality and trying to comprehend or become more aware of where you're at will definitely causes one to be more lucid in waking life and dreaming life. And lucid dreaming requires you know, a bit of lucid living as well, because that's how we create the habit. If we're not becoming conscious and like taking time throughout the day to become aware, then we're just gonna be sleepwalking through our life. And if we're sleepwalking through our life, then we're gonna dream in the same way, because our dreams are a direct reflection of who we are being in waking life. So yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, we are in a dream state right now. Yes, you can meet past loved ones in your dream. Haylee did a masterclass. Yes, I did. It was so good. Oh, I love that you were dreaming of your loved ones. That's so amazing. If I see someone else's hands, or worse, tentacles on my hands as I dream, I might wake up soon after. You know, sometimes it's shocking when you're like, okay, time to do a reality check again. And you do it and you're like, oh my God, I'm actually dreaming. Like, you don't, it's crazy once you start to get in the habit of doing reality checks, because you just assume that you're just going through the motions again. You're about to just do your routine reality check, but you actually realize that you are dreaming this time. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. This is why I had to implement this habit. Okay. Nice shirt, Haley. Thank you so much. This is actually my grandmother's sweater. The grandmother that I cared for hospice, during hospice in October. I was able to go to her house, gather some of her clothing and some of her items. And so I've just been wearing a lot of her clothes recently and just being close to her in the ways that I can. So thank you. Problem of waking up is that it's harder to fall back to sleep. If that is the case, then you can always take something like valerian root. Valerian root is a natural sleeping aid and it also helps with stress, anxiety, and dream recall. So if you have a hard time sleeping, you can always do that. But if you don't want to do that, one easy way is just to stay up for less time. So what I mean by this is when I say wake up during REM sleep and go back to sleep, if you have a really hard time getting back to sleep, then you want to stay in bed. You don't even want to get out of bed and wait to go back to sleep to do your technique. You can wake yourself up and you can immediately lay back down. If you fall asleep too fast, but you want to do a technique, then I would recommend waking up and getting out of bed for a second and staying up for like 10 to 15 minutes, right? That way you don't fall immediately asleep. So it really depends on what kind of sleeper you are, how fast you fall asleep, and you can kind of cater your techniques to that specifically. Being in the state of sleep paralysis, you can definitely slip into a lucid dream, absolutely, and that's what that mind awake body asleep state creates for you. If you wake up in REM sleep and you are falling back into sleep, if you can keep your mind awake as your body falls into sleep, eventually you will access REM sleep consciously and you'll feel the typical vibrations. You know, you'll be in wake and sleep paralysis, and you can either induce a lucid dream from that point, or you can even induce an out-of-body experience from that point as well. So yeah, that's what a lot of lucid dreaming induction techniques help you get to, is that mind awake body sleep state, or that sleep paralysis state. What should I do if I just don't have a dream that night? Then I would just write down the, just your experience. I didn't remember any dreams tonight, or I remember dreaming, but it wasn't super vivid. You just want to write down exactly what you experienced. Just remember that this is just, you're just experimenting, right? You're running your own experiments. And so you just kind of want to write down your findings or your results from the night, whether you dreamt or not. What is the most vivid dream you've experienced? The most vivid dream, now, there's so many, but probably the most impactful one was when I had my lucid dreaming healing on my digestive stomach issues. I was on 8 medications and I had ulcers, gastritis, esophagitis, IBS, basically lots of inflammation in my digestive tract. I couldn't eat food without having like really sharp, horrible stinging pain that lasted like days. Same with if I didn't eat enough. It was just a ton of like pain and just issues, and I wasn't able to, work. I wasn't able to do much at all. And again, I don't know if I said that, I was on 8 medications, and I got an endoscopy and they saw there were tons of like scratches and kind of burns and like erosions inside my stomach. And I have the reports of these as well, and the reports from when I went back and got another endoscopy and showed that it was actually gone after my lucid dream healing, or at least very lessened, like 98% less. But my most vivid experience was probably my lucid dream healing, where I was able to use the placebo effect to physically heal my digestive issues. That was probably the craziest experience, because that's what showed me that healing in the lucid dream is possible, and then it got me into tons of like lucid dreaming studies, and then looking at other people who have healed through lucid dreaming and how lucid dreaming affects the brain and like what is happening to the body when we're dreaming. And that's kind of what started my business, actually, was having that lucid dreaming healing. because I had lucid dreams before that, but when I had that experience, it was so profound and so incredible. And when I woke up, that was the first day in like 8 years that I didn't have like super sharp stabbing pain. Like I would literally just be on the ball, like on the floor, like in a ball, crying like all day. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything for years. This went on for years, and I think over time, it was probably a collection of like the anxiety I had as a child. Like I've been a pretty avid worrier my entire life. Now it's like incredibly lessened. Like I've really been able to do a lot of the work and kind of rewire my brain that way. But I grew up having a ton of anxiety, and we hold anxiety and worry in the stomach, and that creates cortisol. Which is the stress hormone. And when we have cortisol running through our system, our stomach produces more stomach acid, and so it kind of can eat our stomach lining and cause a lot of digestive problems. And that's kind of what happened to me. And after that lucid dream, that was the first day in like 8 years where I didn't wake up from complete agonizing pain. And that was the first day where I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I feel fine. And that dream was, and I would love to see what actually happens if I don't take that medication from after having that dream. And so that was the first day that I decided to not take my 8 medications and see how long I could not take them for. I still haven't taken them, which is so crazy. And I did not expect that to happen. I did not even know that was possible. Like I had no idea that that was going to happen from that experience. It kind of like I got lucid, and I was calling to the universe before that, like after being passed from doctor to doctor to doctor to paying hundreds of dollars to this doctor. Oh, we can't find what's wrong. I'm going to refer you to this doctor. Like literally for years. And I got so sick of it, and I just like gave up. I was like, I need to figure out a way to do this for myself, because obviously no one knows what's going on. No one's able to help me. I'm sick of running in the circle and being told you're gonna have this for the rest of your life. Oh, this sounds like it's incurable, but no one even told me what it was. I literally did my research on Google forever and came to the conclusion that it was probably gastritis. And when I went and told the doctor that, they literally just wrote it on a piece of paper and prescribed told me that it was gastritis. They didn't even do any tests. They just took my word for it. And so it was just like a ton of BS. Like no one knew what they were doing. No one was any help. Like it did nothing to go to all of these doctors and specialists. I went to the best hospitals in my state, like, and nothing. And it just stressed me out and made it so much worse. So eventually I just came to the conclusion, like, I gotta figure out a way to do this myself. Like, this is not getting me anywhere. This is just making me feel worse. And that's when I had that spontaneous lucid dream. And it basically started me on a suburban street. I got lucid, and before I could even remember what my plan was to see if I could heal myself, I didn't even know how I was going to do that. I didn't know what steps to take. Like I never did that before. And that's when a white truck parked across the street, and a man got out and walked across the street, long blonde hair, and he was like, "Hey, I'm here to help you heal your stomach like you were asking for." And I was like taken back, because I like did not, it was so weird. This was definitely the most vivid dream that I've had up until this point, and it felt so real. Like I didn't even know what to expect. I wasn't going to tell him no. I was like, okay, I just decided to play along with the dream, but I didn't think that it was going to have the impact that it did. And we were just down the street talking, and I remember how vivid it was. He was asking me how my day was going, and I told him, "Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm dreaming right now." He's like, "I know." It was so weird. He had so much like awareness, and he didn't just seem like a dream character. He's like, "Well, yeah, I know. That's why you're here. Like, I'm here to help you heal the digestive issues that you've been asking about. I'm going to take you to this healing pool of water. It's just up here and off to the right, and we're just going to hang out there until the dream ends." Like, he was very like conscious. It was like weird, because I never experienced that before up until that point. And he got me to this healing pool of water, but it was just a swimming pool in someone's backyard. We just walked into their house. They're like, "Yeah, it's just back there in their yard." We literally opened the door. No one was in the house. We just like walked through their house, and then there was a family barbecuing in the backyard, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, we just came over to use their swimming pool, and they're like, "Yeah, that's cool." Like, I remember the guy asking, "Hey, you mind if we just like jump in? Is that cool?" And they're like, "Yeah, do you want an otter pop?" I remember getting offered an otter pop in this dream. And lucid dreaming is so cool, because it was like the most vivid thing that I've ever tasted. When we taste things and experience with our senses in waking life, they're limited to what our human can handle, right? Like when you touch something, it's limited to the sensitivity on your fingertips. And when you see something, it's limited to how far your physical eyes can see and how sensitive your taste buds are and so on. But when we experience these things in the dream, we're experiencing them with our mind. So they're like untapped. It's like you're really being able to experience the fullness of your senses when you explore them in a lucid dream. And that's what happened when I had that otter pop. Of course, I chose the blue otter pop because blue anything is the best. And it was like the most, like, it was mind-blowing. I'd never had that experience up until that point. We're so used to our human senses that we think that's all that we're able to experience. But when you go into the lucid dream, it's like a whole other world. It's like completely different than what we're used to. And I just remember enjoying that otter pop and then getting into the water, and he just told me, just show gratitude for your healing. That's all he told me. And I guess it made sense because we're inside the subconscious mind. So affirmations, intentions, like whatever we speak and visualize and believe within the lucid dream actually creates the experience. So I got in the water, I was like splashing around for a sec. The sounds of the water, the look of the water, the feel of the water, the sun rays on my face, the slight wind blowing, like it was so vivid. It was more vivid than anything I've ever experienced in waking life. And I remember doing what he said. I put my hands on my stomach and I just said, thank you for my healing, thank you for my healing, thank you for my healing, already affirming that it's done, right? Because our brain cannot tell the difference between something we're imagining, something that we're dreaming about, or something that's actually happening. So if I'm in the lucid dream, the brain believes it's a real experience. If I'm saying thank you for my healing, the brain thinks that I've already been healed, because gratitude happens after you receive something, after something happens, right? And so when we show gratitude to something that we want to experience, it shows the brain that we've already received it. And so we can access the state of being that we would be on if we did receive that thing. And so that's what happened during the dream. And as I put my hand on my stomach and I was just saying thank you for my healing, I remember like visualizing a white light like going into my stomach, and I closed my eyes for a second in the dream. If you do that, sometimes you can wake up, so maybe don't do that. But I remember doing that and like opening my eyes, and then like the white light that I was envisioning was actually coming from the sun rays and like going into my stomach, and like my whole body started vibrating. And the more that I did this in the pool of water, and the more that I thanked the dream for my healing, like the more vivid it got, and the dream started to shake. Like I was vibrating, and then the dream started to like violently shake. And I just kept doing this until the dream faded. It wasn't like an abrupt end. The dream like slowly faded. Like I could see that the dream was ending. And I think I remember trying to say like goodbye to them and like thank you. But it was just slowly ending, almost like it, you know, it was just like fading away. And then I remember waking up after that, and I just sat up and I was like, whoa. That was the first thing I said. I took off my sleeping mask. I was just like, whoa. And I sat there for a second, and that's when I realized, my stomach, dude. What? Like I would wake up from how bad the pain was every single morning. It was ritual. I knew to expect it, but this time was different. And that's why I was like, oh my God. Well, I don't know if this is just like temporary or what, but I'm just gonna not take my medications right now. And if I need them, I'll take them. Like I have them, but I just want to see what happens if I don't. And I know it seems crazy, but I haven't taken them since. But I do still do upkeep on it. Like when I get lucid every once in a while, I will go and I will try to do the same kind of healing just to like keep upkeep on it. I do eat a lot better as well now. The dream state showed me a lot of where I could have improved. So when we do lucid dreaming healings, and when we ask for a specific thing in the dream, or when we make a specific intention, not only will you get what you feel like you need, but you'll get what the subconscious knows you need, right? Like, so I didn't just need to feel better. I didn't just need less pain. I also needed to change certain habits that were going to help keep my healing in order, to help me feel good consistently. And so it's ultimately from that dream has helped me change my life. Since then, I've started my business to help people experience the untapped potential that they have within the lucid dream state, within their subconscious, within their consciousness in general. Like that dream showed me that this is such a magical universe where anything is possible. And because I have implemented that belief that anything is possible. I truly believe that's what has allowed me to push the limits with what I believed was possible. And so since that dream, I literally like have changed all of the habits that I felt were really destructive to me at that time. I've been able to rewire my brain. You know, I don't have social anxiety anymore. I don't have depression anymore. I don't have that physical pain anymore. I'm more determined and encouraged to take care of myself. I feel more inspired than ever. I'm dedicating to my creativity again. And I'm able to also share this with other people and help other people as well dedicate to this practice and really allow them to experience something similar to what I've experienced in their own ways, whatever that looks like for you. But that was definitely the most vivid dream I feel like I've had. I kind of went on a rant there, but it just took me back to how magical that dream was. And that was probably one of my absolute favorite experience. And of course, I've been having incredible dreams lately as well. My grandmother has been coming to visit me pretty much every single night in my dreams. And so that's been really beautiful. But that dream is what kind of started my true dedication and journey into lucid dreaming. And that's where we are now, and that's kind of what I also help people explore and discover through these states. So yeah, long story short, that's kind of the story. Yeah, it is so cool. It is so cool. Okay. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's incredible. It's really fun. I definitely recommend. And this is, you know, these steps that we covered within this live stream, that's all you really need to do to start, you know, playing with lucid dreaming and just integrating it into a part of your life and just having fun with it. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. It doesn't have to be stressful. We can create this within our lives just by implementing a few simple habits and practices. And so that was kind of the breakdown for my 7 steps of lucid dreaming. Just as a recap, we have dream journaling, dream recall, dream signs, reality checks, healthy sleeping habits, induction techniques, and experimenting. So that is kind of my version of what is needed for creating lucid dreams. And then of course there's many different experiments that you can do in between. I am kind of talking about this in my masterclass series I'm doing. We've covered like how to do shadow work within the lucid dream and meet your shadow. Tomorrow we're talking about the inner child and how to actually heal our inner child and go back to childhood memories and basically heal our younger self and the trauma we went through lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming kind of allows you to time travel, because if you have a wounded aspect of your shadow or your inner child, you can lucid dream and go back to that point in time when you were 7 years old, when that traumatic thing happened or whatever. And it's like you can heal the trauma in a whole new way, because you're bringing your brain, you now, who is now experienced, who has grown, who has now learned lessons, you can take that back to your younger self. And when you wake up, it's literally like you went back in time and were able to integrate and heal an aspect of that trauma that allows you to show up in a different way now. That's what we're talking about tomorrow. We're also going to be diving into like nightmares and how to induce nightmares and talk to the nightmares and figure out what they mean and be able to heal through nightmares and decode them, like all that fun stuff. And then my last class, we're actually going to be talking about physical healing, how to actually physically heal within the lucid dream, how to reprogram your brain, how to learn skills, how to access the placebo effect within the dream state. And so that's what my Dreams of masterclass series is. If you guys have heard me talk about it, that's what it is. It's an 11-part masterclass series, all based around dreams. So the first class was on dream symbolism and how to actually decode the symbolism in your dreams, how to use your dream journal, how to build your dream recall. And then we went into the next class, which was dreams of awareness. So how to actually implement really powerful but simple awareness practices in the waking state so we can become more aware in our dreams and have spontaneous lucid dreams. The next class was all about like lucid dreaming techniques. And so I take you on a journey through, you know, lucid dreaming and dream work. We start from the ground zero and we work our way up. And once you've kind of learned the basics of lucid dreaming and then the depth of what lucid dreaming can do and how you can use it in your life, we start to go into advanced practices like shadow work within lucid dreaming, you know, dream yoga, inner child work, physical healing, working with our nightmares, learning skills and practicing skills, meeting past versions of ourselves or future versions of ourselves. And so lucid dreaming, I think that it's a powerful tool for really like powerful inner work. You can use it for fun and play, which I definitely recommend doing, but I use it for really deep inner work and transforming my life and transforming my mind and learning about myself. And that's my favorite way to use lucid dreaming. And so that's kind of what my masterclass series is about. So right now, if you join the entire series, you can attend the classes with us live that are upcoming, and then you also get lifetime access to the past classes as well. If you can enroll in one single class in the 11-part series, or you can join in the entire series. Whatever you want to do, I've made it so you can enjoy, join in on the entire series, or you can just pick out specific classes that you want and you get lifetime access to them. And you also get access to the private Facebook group, so you can talk to the community in there who is in that class with you. You can post your experiences, you can ask questions, and it's in a live format like this if you attend live with us. So it's basically live coaching as well. I'll go through every single comment. We'll be having a conversation throughout the entire thing. You'll get all your questions answered, and you can always connect with me after and in the group and have access to those classes. They are being put on my course platform right now. I'm not done putting them up, but you will be able just to go on there and enroll in the classes you want automatically. Right now, since they aren't fully up yet, you will just need to message me or email me if you're interested in the full series or even individual classes. You can message me as well, and I'll get you the direct links for that. I'm working on getting it all put up on my course platform. That way you guys can just go and look at all of it and have the breakdown of every class and be able to easily find the classes and enroll in them. But if you guys have any questions as of right now on how you can get into those classes, or what that kind of looks like, if you have any specific questions, then you can just let me know and I'll get you to where you need to be. Of course, if there's any of you who haven't worked with me before, I also do one-on-one mentorships. I offer single session mentorships, which is just an hour. Sometimes we go over, a lot of the times we go a little bit over if we're really in the flow and we're talking about something, it's just so fun to connect to you guys, and sometimes it's just nice to just veg out and talk about lucid dreaming and our practices with each other. And I try to support as much as I can in my mentorship, so not only will you be able to connect with me through a one-on-one call, but you also get a full breakdown and guide of everything that we've talked about so you can implement it into your own practice. Again, I offer the one-on-one sessions. There's 30-day journeys with me, 6-month journeys, and up to a year of me being your personal lucid dream and astral travel coach. If you are interested in starting an online business as well, specifically with YouTube, I am a YouTube business coach as well. So I will help you kind of get set up on your channel to increase your subscribers, increase in watch time, and create content that feels good to you and also allows you to build your audience. That's something I'm super passionate about. If you know me personally, I talk about YouTube all the time. I love the community on here. I love the science behind YouTube and how it works, and so that's something that I love to help people with as well. So if you guys are interested in reaching out to me, then definitely let me know. Let's see. Okay, John, are you talking about joining in the series? And is that at Gmail? I'll also put my email in here as well. Awesome. So there is my email as well. If you don't mind just shooting me an email really quick, John, you can literally just say hey or whatever and I'll get back to you. I just want to make sure that I have your correct email. I'll keep this as well though. So if you just want to shoot me an email, I'll get back to you right after this live stream, and we'll get you to where you need to be. And I will be creating another series after this one ends, and anyone who joins in on this series, you're gonna get a beautiful exciting perk for the next series. We also do giveaways every once in a while in these masterclass series. We just did one for sleep headphones, dream tea, a book that I haven't sent out yet. We gave away 4 or 5 prizes, so that's a great way to that I love to kind of give back to you guys, especially being in such a closely knit community in these classes. We've really become like a really close family, and I just love connecting with all of you guys in there every month. So yeah, very excited for the next class tomorrow. And yeah, if you guys have any questions on connecting with me, joining these classes, working with me, please just don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to chat with you guys and answer any questions that you guys have. No worries, Jason. Thanks for showing up. Can I clarify something with you? Do we leave our body when we dream or only AP? So, really, Steve, we don't even necessarily physically leave our body when we have an out-of-body experience. Part of our awareness travels outside of our physical body. And I would say it's kind of the same way for dreaming, right? Because where is our awareness when we're dreaming? It's in what's happening in the dream world, right? Even when we're daydreaming, our awareness is somewhere else. And so I think that all these different practices, it allows us to allow, different parts of our awareness to travel outside of our body. So some people will say like our soul is traveling outside of our body and out-of-body experience, but it's more of our conscious awareness is what's traveling outside of our body. It's same with dreams as well, though. So great question. Yes, you can absolutely email me, Zach. Absolutely. Again, guys, my email is contact.thelucidmystic@gmail.com. If you are, I do have to say this, because I have gotten emails about this, if you are wanting to send me kind of like a really, really long email about your life story and your practices, and if I have any tips or anything, that is something that I would probably post in the community groups and stuff. Unless you're wanting to book like a session or something, I'm happy to answer questions. I am happy to provide links to different videos and free resources that I have, but it is hard for me to keep up with all of the really, really long emails and you guys just asking for a couple quick tips and stuff. I'm very happy to do that, but I would probably post those kinds of things in the community group in Telegram. That way the community can also help as well, just in case I'm not available. I want you guys to be able to get the help and resources that you need. So I will always provide the resources that I can. But if it's something that the community can also help with as well, please feel free to join the private Facebook group and the Telegram chat as well. We are all here to help you and support you. But if there's anything specific, that you need to chat with me about or anything like that, then of course you guys know where to find me. But mainly for resources on classes, one-on-one mentorships, questions on how we can work together. If you can't find a specific resource, stuff like that, you can reach out to my email on. I'm also available on Telegram, like I said, and I'm also in my private group. So if there's anything that I can help you with in there, then I will do so. Okay, let's see. Perfectly imperfect. How are you stuck, my friend? Sorry, I'm just getting back to some of these chats. How can I know the difference between lucid dreaming and LBE? Because Daniel Love says it's the same thing to him. Sorry for mentioning his name. No, you're totally fine. They're not the same thing, in my opinion. One of my favorite astral projection teachers is actually Jade Shaw. She is Charlie Morley's wife. He's a lucid dream teacher, and then she's an astral travel teacher. And she talks a lot about the different states of consciousness within these states. The difference is, and this is why they're not the same, within a lucid dream, you need to be within REM sleep, right? In order to lucid dream, you have to be in dreaming sleep. And you have to be in REM sleep, right? Dreaming sleep is REM sleep. But with an out-of-body experience, you can have an out-of-body experience outside of REM. You can have an out-of-body experience while you're awake. You can have an out-of-body experience directly through meditation. So the difference is the brain waves that you're in are completely different when you're in a lucid dream opposed to an out-of-body experience, but also the states that you reach them in are also different. Some of the techniques are the same, yes, and sometimes they can feel the same, but when you're having an out-of-body experience, you do not need to be in REM. You do not even need to be asleep. You can induce an out-of-body experience really in any state of consciousness, and lucid dreaming is not like that. So that's the biggest way to kind of show that they are absolutely not the same states. They can definitely feel the same, and sometimes I'll be in a lucid dream and I will kind of shift to feeling vibrations and almost coming out of my body. You can kind of switch between the two sometimes, but the fact that you can have an out-of-body experience when you're not even asleep, when you're not even in REM, shows that it's not a lucid dream. Yeah. Zach, if you would like to send me a message, we can absolutely talk about it. I would love to chat with you about that, my friend. I have a few different things that I can offer you. So if you would like to send me an email, Zach, I would love to chat with you about that. And my email is above. It should be in the bottom of all my videos as well, and also in the About Me section of my channel. You can easily find my email there as well. But I would love to chat with you about that, Zach, for sure. So the main difference, what I kind of do, is a reality check. Now again, a reality check is gonna be weird in the dream because the dream has a hard time at replicating what you just saw, and it has a hard time at creating detail. And when you have your hand up, for example, and you're dreaming and you try to push your finger through your palm, it's gonna go right through. If you look at your hands, you might have 12 fingers. I've noticed that it's not the same way in the out-of-body experience. I can look at the titles on my books and it will look the exact same. I can look at my hand and look away and look back and it will look the exact same. Sometimes I don't even have a body in the out-of-body state. Sometimes it's just like fractals of light. Sometimes I can't see anything. It feels a little more eerie and more like otherworldly than a lucid dream to me, but also very, very real. It's kind of hard to explain what I mean by that, but once you do a reality check, in the lucid dream and then in the out-of-body experience, you can kind of see how it's different. A reality check doesn't even necessarily work in the out-of-body experience because the state is so different and things look so crisp and clear. It's literally oh my gosh, it is so cool because the last time I had an out-of-body experience, it literally felt like I just opened my eyes and sat up and got out of bed. It was so strikingly real, and the reality was so freaking close to my waking life as well. The main difference was just the feeling, it just felt very alien-y, very otherworldly. I don't know how to explain that. And also the tint, everything was tinted kind of blue, I was kind of in this other world. I don't even know how to explain it. That's probably the best way that I can explain it. It's very stable, but you can also get snapped back to your body extremely quick. If you even think about your body sometimes, this is a thought responsive state. So when you're in an out-of-body experience, it's responsive off your thoughts. So if you even think about your body, you can get sucked back to your body. But if you think about a location you want to get to very strongly, you can also zoom to that location. So you can use it in a really incredible way, but it's also can be hard to stay in an out-of-body experience because it requires such focus. So yeah, that's kind of my experience with it. You don't have the zoom and blurry vision like the lucid dream. It depends on your level of awareness. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. The last time I had an out-of-body experience, it was very, very clear, but it was almost like it was like a camera view from the floor. It was almost like if you put your phone recording on the floor and then we're just scooting it around on the floor. That was where I was. I didn't have a body. It was I was just eyeballs moving on the floor. It was very weird. And it kind of feels like walking for the first time when you have an out-of-body experience. It's kind of hard to control, and it literally feels like you're stumbling all over the place, or you can't control it. But once you have an out-of-body experience, you'll be able to feel the difference. I do have mentorships and stuff on that. I do on Patreon, I do post exclusive videos and techniques on astral projection and lucid dreaming and stuff. So those are also ways that you can kind of learn specifics with that if you're wanting content that isn't available on the channel. But once you have once you have an experience of, you know, like an astral projection, you can definitely feel the slight differences that really make a huge difference. Like, it's just like an eerie, but not like scary. It just is like a very otherworldly type feeling. And of course it's going to be different for everyone, but it's like, once you have a couple of them, it just feels different. And what I would practice doing, if there's anybody who wants to just practice having out-of-body experience, having out-of-body experience is all about shifting your awareness to somewhere else. So I would lay on the couch and actually first go stand in a specific area of your house. So if you want to stand in the kitchen and observe everything that you see in front of you. What are the textures? What are the specific objects like? What are the colors? And really feel what it feels like to stand in that area. And then go lay down somewhere on the couch or something and try to imagine being in that area you were just in. That's how you switch your awareness. That's how you separate your awareness from your physical body, is by making a reality so real of being somewhere else where your physical body is not. And eventually your brain, your brain can't tell the difference between something you're imagining, something you're dreaming about, or something that's actually happening. So if you make the reality of standing in your kitchen more real than the reality of you laying on the couch, you will literally feel the shift in perspective, the shift in awareness. You will feel yourself standing in the other area, and eventually you can open your eyes and literally perceive from that area. I know it might sound crazy, but it just gets me so hyped, because this is even, the fact that this is possible and that we live in a reality where we can just do this is just so cool. But that's the easiest way that I'd recommend kind of exploring this and practicing shifting your awareness. It's all about shifting your perspective. So just remember that. Even if you're laying in bed going to sleep, can you imagine your head being where your feet is and like really feel like you're there? Can you imagine standing in front of your bathroom when you're laying in your bed? Like, can you feel being in a different area? Can you make it more real than what's happening where your physical body is? That's the biggest hack that I can give you with practicing out-of-body experiences. Laying on your foot will give you a different, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And sometimes I'll wake up during REM sleep sometimes to induce like a lucid dream, for example, and I will like lay on the ground, or I'll go lay on the couch and I'll imagine like swinging in a hammock or something, and I'll actually feel it after a while. Like, I'll feel myself swinging in that hammock, and I'll feel the stomach drop from swinging in the hammock, and it's because I've created a reality that I've been able to put all of my energy and all of my senses in, and my brain believes that is actually happening. And so whatever you start to imagine, once you start to shift perspective, if you can make that more real than what's actually happening, you will start to experience some trippy stuff. You will start to hear sounds that correlate with that environment, feelings, sensations that correlate with that environment, and eventually sight as well. So that's how I learned to induce out-of-body experiences. Yeah, the ability to imagine or perceive is key. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you need to watch some videos on watch like an ambience of like the beach or something, and really take in what it looks like, what it sounds like, and then try to recreate that in your meditation or in your visualization, like that is key. Like, if you can just get in the hang of strong visualization and creating a world in your mind that feels, sounds, and looks more real than where your body is laying, like, I promise you, with practice, you will be able to shift your consciousness like fairly quickly. So even how you learn lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences is different as well. A lot of the techniques are the same, but lucid dreaming, it comes down to conscious awareness and critical thinking, and out-of-body experiences comes to switching perspective and imagination and strong visualization. So they're similar, but to me, they are definitely different experiences. All right, guys, I'm losing my voice. I have a sore throat. And we've been live for about 2 hours now. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to your email, John, you as well, Zach, if you reached out. thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, for chilling with me. Again, we go live every Monday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We were an hour late today, but I did post about it in the Telegram chat. So if you want live updates on the stream, on the content that's coming up, and just to see what's going on, join the Telegram chat, because if I am ever late or things are being switched around, then I will let you guys know in the Telegram chat. Will do. I'm gonna go make some tea. I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you next Monday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Oh, Will, me too. I do need it. I've been fighting it for like the past hour, but it's starting to get really hard to talk now. So I love you guys so much. Thanks again for joining. I love you so much. And as always, you already know, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity.